Welcome to Thursday Night Knives. I'm Bob DeMarco. Coming up, we're going to take a look at the new Jack Wolf Knives Diamondback Jack, which I am smitten with. We're going to see two new knives, another one from Cold Steel, and you'll see, a pocket-carried fixed blade, which leads me to the main topic of conversation. What is your favorite way to EDC fixed blades? I know a lot of people here do EDC fixed blades, and if you don't, why not? And how do you think you would if you did? So we'll get into that. Important topic of conversation because we got to know these things. One of the new knives I just got is a pocket carry fixed blade, similar to the Armis Knife and Tool pocket carry fixed blade with an ambidextrous sheath. And I'm really digging the ambidextrous sheaths. I've got two of them now, and the knives that go in them are super awesome. So that, of course, helps. But I've been really liking carrying this way. So I want to talk about that, and I'll show off this new thing I got. Also, we are going to be giving away a knife tonight. This comes courtesy of OG Blade Reviews, Dave of OG Blade Reviews. We're going to be giving away this super cool-looking titanium and D2 karambit from Tucson Knives. This is the TS370 karambit. The TS370 karambit has got a nice, generous handle, a great ring with the gear pattern kind of milled into it, so you can, if you do your flippy stuff, you can arrest the motion really quickly by just burying your thumb into that jimping and get it to stop. I'm not going to attempt that with my left hand, certainly not under the camera, but this is what we're giving away. Look at that incredible hawkbill blade. What? You don't know how to use a karambit? It's all good. All you have to do is open it, and I'm pretty sure you know how to use a hawkbill blade. Generous sized handle will allow for bigger hands and gives you a lot of room to either use the knife like this, which I generally tend to do with karambits, rather than commit like this, or you can commit like this. And look at all the karambiting you can do with it. A beautiful sculpted titanium pocket clip. This is a Wong design. He's done a lot of designs for Tucson. It's got great jimping, and let me show you this. It is a front flipper and a thumb stud opener. But check this out. With the front flipper, I can even do it with my left hand. So #knife in the comments gets you this beautiful titanium karambit knife for all sorts of stuff, all sorts of utility tasks, especially if defending yourself is a utility. But you could use this for plenty more. We'll do that probably around 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and I'll let you know as we come up on it. Marco, always the first. Good to have you here, sir. Evening, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Marco, it's a pleasure, sir. Don't forget your #knife. Dave, you won't want to do this, but thank you for the knife you've given us to give to the good junkies here. Dave says, evening, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Sword, fire, sword. Good to have you here, Dave. I usually carry small fixies in a Tracker Dan style sheath in a leg pocket of my off-the-grid pants. Oh, okay. So that's kind of on the side, right? That would be one of those pockets on the side. Craig Vincent, nice to have you here, sir. Evening, Jumpin' Junkies. Well, good evening to you, sir. 'Tis a pleasure. We have Ground Fog with us saying hello. Hello, Ground Fog. Hope you're doing well. Have a nice day. Throwing knives and taking shots. Not this kind of shot, but taking pictures of himself throwing knives. That I liked your post yesterday. He says, good evening, junkies. Ideally open carry. Oh, pardon me. Suspended from the belt. Sometimes I don't mind scout carry, but it depends on the knife situation and the ability to open carry. Welcome to California. Yeah, no kidding. California. Sorry about that. I used to live in New York, where, man, I don't know if you've seen this, but their repugnant and repulsive governor, Hochul, just fired some 2,000 striking prison workers, prison guards, who were striking because it's so damn dangerous ever since they started the HALT Act there, and they can't throw anyone in solitary confinement for more than 15 days. And so there's no form of punishment, and people have been dying in those prisons, and they struck, and there goes the governor firing them all. So good luck to all those New York State National Guard, because they're now the prison guards. Jammin Parker, nice to have you here, Jammin. Evening, all. My favorite is Appendix IWB with the DCC clip on the pants underneath the belt. That's how I do it for more free range of movement. Yeah, you can kind of cant it any way you want, whereas the belt and the size of the clip determine that if you go over the belt. For me, 4-inch blades are the max size to comfortably carry this way. That's about where I fall to. Though if it's 4 inches, I usually have it 3 o'clock. Anything bigger than 4 inches, I do over waistband tech lock on the belt in a 4 or 5 o'clock position, and wear a vest or loose shirt to conceal. Yeah, that's a solid strategy. Bigger knives for me always go on the side. I always carry them in the waistband unless I'm just walking the dog or something. James Hart, nice to have you here, James. I don't carry a fixed blade as an EDC knife because your fixed blades are swords, sir. But if I were to carry a fixed blade, it would be the Cold Steel Kyoto 2 neck knife. A good choice, a solid choice. I like all of their neck knives. The Kyoto. Which one is the Kyoto? Oh, I know which one the Kyoto is. It's one of the more recent offerings, 3.5-inch, cool traditional tanto. James Hart says, on a lanyard long enough to carry under my left arm. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Would not dangle as much. Are you talking crossbody and then you pull it? Evening, Junkaloos, says Nick Martino. Nick, it's a pleasure having you here, sir. Hope you saw yesterday's edition of the Knife Junkie podcast, where you, sir, were one of the favorite comments, one of two. Thank you for that awesome comment. Made me and Jim feel really great. Craig Vincent says, most days I fill every pocket in my cargo pants and then add an appendix car and a necker. Appendix car and a necker. Also, most days I never go anywhere except walk down to the dumpster, says Craig Vincent. What's happening at the dumpster? You going down there to shoot rats or just dispose of stuff? Jason Cosby, nice to have you here, Jason. Good evening, everyone, he says. Well, good evening to you, sir. Joseph S. says, hey, you, Bob. Nice to have you here, Joseph. One of my favorite EDC fixed blades is one that you recommended, the Cold Steel Mini Tack. I love that knife. I have all three. So they used to have a number of them. Actually, Dave gave me one that's discontinued. I have a Kiradashi that's discontinued, and then I have the current Bowie, and I love all three of them. They have such great handles, little handles, but they're like little sub hilts. They're great. Sword XXXY, good to have you here, man. Good day, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. If I'm carrying a fixed blade, it's either in the waistband at appendix or in my front pocket, ideal for smaller knives like the Le Griff. And he's referring to the Fred Perrin designed Emerson little one finger through the hole hawkbill. Great little knife. Ken Reed, nice to have you here, Ken. Good evening, Junkies, he says. Good evening to you, Mr. Reed. Adrian Fighter 35, been watching your videos this week. I like them. Good evening, Bob, Jim, and fellow Junkies, he says. Well, hello to you, Adrian, and your better half, if she's listening on this eve. Benedict Odie, nice to have you here, Benedict. Ben is the the merch czar for Terzuola Knives, and he was here last night giving away one of these beautiful coins that they're selling. This is a 5 millimeters of marine grade brass, beautiful engraving, and I got that off in the mail to the winner, Ms. Clark, I believe, this past week. Nick Martino says it honestly depends on what I'm doing, all different ways. I hear that. That's pretty much me too. And the one thing that concerns me about that is you want to know that you have reflexive motions. You have it reflexively there to draw. And sometimes, I always pretty much know where my knife is. But today, for instance, I carried front scout, but I had it oriented in the opposite direction. Usually I have it oriented for a reverse grip. It was the other way around, and I thought, not so good for my left hand today. Will Jones, nice to have you here, Will. He says boot knife. And it's funny you should say that because the wife and I just watched Taxi Driver the other night while we were folding laundry. How funny is that? Funny movie to watch while folding laundry. But what a great movie. If you haven't seen it in a long time or have never seen it, you got to check out. I think it was 1976, Martin Scorsese, Robert De Niro, back before he was a punk. And man, what a great movie. And he tapes a military style knife to his leg. And I couldn't really identify what the knife was. It has sort of a generic drop point with looks like a plastic version of the sort of K-bar handle. But anyway, he tapes it with white medical tape to his cowboy boots, and then rips it off in the moment of truth and jams it through the pimp's hand. Nick Martino says, thank you, Dave and Bob and Jim, for everything you guys do. It's our pleasure, and I'm sure Dave would agree. It's his pleasure. And speaking of Dave, don't forget about this knife. This is the TS370 that we're giving away from Tucson Knives. Really, really nice titanium and D2 karambit given to the channel by Dave. Just hashtag knife in the Dave is OG Blade Reviews, by the way. Hashtag knife in the old comments there. Joseph S. says, I like to carry pocket drop for EDC and scout when I'm out hiking. Do you ever worry about landing on your back with scout carry? I always do. I carry mine front scout, but back scout, which I think is just scout. In front, I think it's called something else. But I'm always worried I'm going to end up on my back somehow, and it's going to be like, and I'm not going to be able to get to it. Split and Slices says, howdy, Bob, Jim, and junkies. Thursday night knife. Favorite way to EDC carry a fixed blade is in the pocket with a discrete carry concepts clip or smaller or similar. Okay. Yeah. I wouldn't say that that's my absolute favorite, but I'm really coming around to that. You know, I just was walking around the house with this one. This is the Mini Ruffian from Hogtooth Knives. Looks just like the big Ruffian, only small. And same thing, DCC pocket clip, and only about that much of the handle protrudes. You can tell it's a knife, but I could change the depth of the clip. But this is a super handy way to carry around a fixed blade, I do must say. Icomamian. Oh my gosh, hang on. I know that Icomania is the love of knives. Icomanian. One more time. Icomanian, nice to have you here, sir. Static line, samurai carry for me. That's also a cool way to carry. That's where you have say that this is the knife you're going to carry. You have this clipped to a belt loop or your belt, kind of over around at 9 o'clock. And then you snake this around and just put it under your waistband right here. Say your belt is right here. It's just kind of through pressure staying there, but it's also held in with a lanyard. And then when you need it, you just tug it out and the sheath kind of dangles at your side. You do your grim work or your regular work, and then you pick it up, put it back in, tuck it in your pants. You're good to go. I like that form of carry. And I like that you call it samurai carry. Nick Martino says, laugh out loud, and all of New York isn't like NYC. Western is a little different than NYC. Oh, that's for sure. But that prison thing is happening statewide. And Kathy Hochul is up north in Albany. But she wasn't even elected. She was the fill-in when Cuomo was ousted. So she's an unelected bureaucrat doing this kind of crap. Nick Martino says, we need her gone. Yes, I agree. Need her gone from office for sure. Cooper Clark, good to have you here, Cooper. Small fixed blades are in pocket. Medium large fixed blades are on a dangler or high and tight on my belt with edge forward. High and tight. Oh, so that a shirt or something can cover up the bottom of the sheath. Split and Slices says, I also carry a neck knife on a lanyard. Yes, you like the off-grid knives everyday necker, if I'm not mistaken. You're like, I'm not just a one-trick pony. I'm sure you've got others, but you've mentioned that one a lot. Nick Martino says, I need to go watch. I missed it, but I will watch. What will you watch? I'm sure I just mentioned something and I'm not remembering what it was. Oh, taxi driver. Yeah. What? I just talked about taxi driver for 5 minutes. Jerry C, good to have you here, Jerry. 4-inch fixed is good. If it has a black coating, it will look bigger. LOL. Hope you're doing good, Bob. That's funny. Wait, what's this? Is that this? I like that. That's great. Let's see. /M /. Good to have you. Mike Hauser. Good to have Good to have you with us, Mike Hauser. Hi, junkies. Weak side, horizontal waistline, EDC clip. So you're okay. So it's like this on your weak side, so you can reach over with your strong hand and pull it, or with your weak hand, say your hand is on your pistol, grab it like that in reverse grip. Adrian Fighter 35 says, I like carrying my fixed blades on my belt with a small clip at a slight angle. Also, I carry a neck knife every single day, switching between the Cold Steel Double Agent 1, 2, or my Mini Tac Tonto. Mini Tac, second person to mention that. It is a great knife. Double Agent is cool. The 2 rings has always been a little problematic for me. But, actually at one point I thought of cutting off one of the rings. And then I was like, it was a gift from a close friend, so I'm not going to mess with it. But I did wrap the center because I find the grip for the middle 2 fingers to be a little too small. So I put jute cord there. Any excuse to use jute cord. Have a Knife Day says, just made it back. Had to cook for my wife. Oh, good man. What were you cooking? Let us know. I want to know. Paul Mills. Hello, Bob DeMarco. Hello, Paul Mills. Good to have you here with us. As always, sir. Jeremy Nedro says, good evening. And I say to Jeremy Nedro, good evening. And so does everyone else here. It is a gathering of eagles on this fine evening. Ed says, what is up, fellow junkies? How you doing, Ed? I hope you're doing well. Northern Knives, we got Mike with us. Evening, Bob, Jim, and junkies. I hope you're doing well up there in the great, that's not the Great White North. That's Canada, isn't it? But up there, up north. Good to have you here. I watch a lot of Outdoor Boys videos, and he lives and camps in Alaska. Man, what a beautiful place that is. Donald Fry says, good evening, Bob, Jim, and fellow junkies. Good to have you here with us, Donald. I hope you received your package. My preferred EDC fixed blade carry position is appendix cross draw. Appendix cross draw. So it's not following your anatomy necessarily, but it's on the front on the other side. Will B says, evening, Bob, Jim, and junkies. Will, pleasure having you, as always. Ryan Lynch looking sharp. Good evening, all, he says. Well, good evening to you, Ryan. Cody Broadway. What a name. Jeez, man. Cody Broadway. Good to have you here, Cody. That's a cool name, by the way, in case you didn't pick up. I carry appendix with lured, but wanted to find a better way to carry leather. Wait, what's lured? Hang on. I carry appendix, but want to find a better way to carry leather belt sheaths because I can't seem to find the perfect spot. It's in my hip or if okay. Yeah, the problem with leather, that is a problem. This guy who does not make knives anymore, unfortunately, the Dillon Blade Company guy, he used to make incredible leather sheaths that basically behave like Kydex. But you want leather, but there are only a few ways to carry leather sheaths. But what does W lured mean? Let me know. I think it might be a typo. Stephen Clayton Jr., nice to have you here, Stephen, with the T-Kel hug. Good evening, everyone. Coffee. I'm done. My coffee's done. Coffee, knives. T-Kel DP1 arrived today. What a cool, cute little knife. And by cute, I just mean cool. It's that little drop point that he made, and it is his newest knife, but it's also based on one of his absolute very first knives, and it was dedicated to his father-in-law, which is pretty cool. Ron Crow, nice to have you here, Ron. He says, evening, fellow junkies. Well, good evening to you, sir. It says, front scout with the push dot loops in a Kydex sheath. Okay. My problem with those loops is that if it's the dot kind, I can never quite, I mean, I have to manhandle them in, but the the dot system on that. I never thought that was quite necessary. And if you don't know what I mean, it's like the snap, the button side, and then the receiving side. You have to have them aligned just right. And my brother swears by them, and I don't know, that gene missed me for some reason. Ben says, one of my favorite fixed blade carry is the Bastinelli Red V2. The Bastinellis, God, I love Bastinelli knives. They're so cool. They're so beautiful, and the red is pretty damn sweet. Though I don't own one. My friend Ian does. Nice to have you here, Angelo. I carry a Kaiser Muskrat as a neck knife. That Muskrat is pretty cool, and I'm pretty down with the neck knives, Dan, especially here, especially this primitive wicked. It's so light and thin, but I also find I can neck carry the Ledak from Fred Perrin knives, which is considerably larger than this, but nice and thin, and I have mine wrapped with jute. I think thinness has the most to do with it. Jerry C., you are correct, sir. Knife Junkies rock. Knife Junkie rocks. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. I love that. I've got to show that to my wife. David Blade. Nice to have you here, David. Hey, junkies. Greetings. Sharpening my new Kershaw Iridium while listening. I love the Iridium. Lately, it's been riding in my backpack. Also, I belt carry my Cold Steel Pendleton Mini Hunter. What a sweet little knife that is. 3V, baby. That Iridium is cool. Have you checked out, David? Have you checked out the Iridium Automatic? That looks so good. I got to get that. Craig Vincent, not that this has anything to do with anything, but last night I watched Bone Tomahawk. I love that movie. That scene where that one dude gets split in half is so gross, but I really love that movie. And Kurt Russell, he's just a man. Jesse, good to have you here, Jesse. Evening all, he says. Well, good evening to you, sir. Have a Knife Day says grilled onion and mushroom Swiss. That sounds delicious. The first time I made smash burgers on my griddle, that's what my wife also requested that, and that's what I made. That sounds absolutely delicious, and now you have me craving dinner again, even though my wife made tagine tonight. So good. My mouth is dry as a bone. Michael Elliott, nice to have you here, Michael. Is that a Filipino flag I see there? And some really cool swords. Good evening, Bob and fellow knife junkies. Good to have you here, Michael. Nick Martino says, I love Luke from the Outdoor Boys. Yeah, he's so cool. 14 million subs he has over after 11 years of doing that. But his videos are so compelling. It's no wonder. Joseph S. says, yeah, usually front scout carry, I think also call it facing forward and horizontal carry. Okay. I'm going to call it front scout. I feel like people kind of get the idea, but yeah, I thought there was like a different, like something totally different, but maybe I'm wrong. Hero Sticks, good to have you here, Hero. Evening and cheers all, he says. Big thanks, Bob, for receipt of the giveaway knife. You're welcome. That I won a few weeks ago. I gifted it to my brother and he freaked out. So great. That's cool, man. I'm glad. Spreading the joy. It goes from Dave to me to you to your brother. It's just spreading the joy. Alex Doss. I got to see what knives you got there. Ooh, I like that Bowie with the black handle. Very, very nice. Alex Doss says, howdy, junkies. Have only been carrying 2 folders recently. The Cold Steel Frenzy. Ha! Funny you should mention the Frenzy. And the CRKT Ritual combo. Okay, that Ritual is crazy. That's the Alan Foltz designed Persian that has the hugely upswept blade. Combo, I guess that means with serrations. When I've had a fixed, it's been a horizontal left-handed. That's cool. Yeah, because you can grab that in reverse with your left hand or just cross draw with your right. Once Upon a Reset. Good to have you here, and I like your name. Prison Wallet. During my not so glorious past, sometimes I still my go-to carry position when I'm traveling state to state. It's pretty extreme there. Once Upon a Reset, But you know, we all got to do what we got to do to feel safe. Hopefully, you're not carrying one of these. Carino1, good to have you here, Carino. Good evening, fellow knife junkies. Just picked up a very affordable tenable Lucio and haven't settled on a position to carry. Reading these suggestions closely. Which one is the Lucio? Speaking of fixed blades, I got this out on the deck. I'll just show you before I sheath it and pull something else out. Mike Hauser says, does anyone make a between the shoulder blades tip with tip up for Bowies like Crocodile Dundee? You mean like this? Oh my God. You fall on your back, you'll kill yourself. However, you know, really hurt your spine. And I don't know if you're joking about it, but you know what's a very nice way to carry a knife is, and this is how I carry this knife, though I don't have the Boldrick with me, but just a strap, and then this is on your back diagonally, and then you just kind of draw it like, you get the idea. You just reach back here. Book of Eli style, just like Book of Eli. So you have the handle pointed down and the blade diagonally across your back, and you just reach and pull it out. And that's a really great way to carry on your back. But I haven't seen one between the shoulders. Now, I had a karate teacher when I was doing Kempo karate who said that he used to carry when he was a mercenary. This was before they called them contractors. He would carry one that's much smaller than this, something he could throw behind, like between his shoulder blades with the tip down. And so he could be like, if he was caught or whatever. Hero Stick says, I feel like the Iridium and the Bel Air have been big comeback players for Kershaw. I agree. And the whole launch series too, hugely. It is laughing at Prison Wallet. Yeah, I like that. Angelo says, now that's a neck knife. Yeah, no doubt. Cheeto Zard, good to have you here, Cheeto. Everybody been driving and listening. Good to have you here, Cheeto, as always. Michael Elliott says, yes, sir. It is my design representation of my martial arts journey with American Kempo and Pakiti Tersha Kali. The blades are my design. They're very cool blades. The swords, Gunfighter Custom El Decapitare, and the knife, the GFC Murdoch. I like the Gunfighter Customs. I thought that looked familiar. So that's your design. How cool. Those swords look pretty cool. Let me ask you, on the swords, I see the D guard. I see the backward facing blade. But right forward of the D guard, is that an extra bit to grip, or is that a double hawkbill blade? Very interesting designs. Let me know. And by the way, Michael, yeah, I think Gunfighter Customs are really sweet. They've been on this show, and I got a chance to, I think I maybe even had a chance to hold your knife at their booth this past blade show, but nicely done, sir. And American Kempo Karate, that's the one that I really fell in love with martial arts on. I love it. I still love it. Never Enough Knives 007. Sorry. Oh, tagine stuck in the teeth. Never Enough Knives 007. Nice to have you here, Never Enough Knives. Hola, junkies. Today was a Clip Point Recon 1, an excellent choice. Kaiser Harpoon, Swiss Army Knife Rucksack, and a Boker AK Auto. That series is insane. I mean, just insanely broad. The Harpoon was in front scout carry on my left side. Front scout. Okay, if it wasn't a thing, let's make it a thing. Strings, what's up, man? I sent you an email. I hope you're doing well. And he says, what's up, Knife Junkies? See, Strings has a little something that I've always been pining for. We might make a trade for. Alex Doss says, the ritual is awesome. I'm sorry. The ritual is awesome. Same with the frenzy. Also would love a new mid-size Bowie to EDC being in Tennessee. If you have a good suggestion, mid-size Bowie. Oh, the Sear. I don't have it out. I have two others from this company out, but I believe it's the number 8 Sear from the company that makes this Station 9 knives. or it's the number 8 sear. Is a really great little mid-sized Bowie, but it's got a G10. G10 handles. I'm not sure if you mean like Bowie, like with all the classical trappings, like a cross guard. And that knife does have a pretty generous guard, but it's integral, into the handle. It's not a cross guard. So let's think, people. Let's help them with a mid-sized Bowie. You could always go the Recon Scout from Cold Steel. I know I got Cold Steel on the brain, but I always have. It's like a small version of the Trailmaster. And I've never had one, but I've always wanted one. So maybe that's the next. Maybe that's the next Cold Steel. I'm playing catch up with Cold Steels I've always wanted. Mike Hauser says, big fan of Book of Eli and agree on that carry. Good suggestion. Yeah, I have a couple of machetes here too, Schrade machetes that I like to carry that way as well. Craig Vincent. Oh, and you can put it under a trench coat. I mean, if it's your druthers. Craig Vincent says, Bob, it's funny that the giveaway tonight is a Tucson. I myself had a Tucson arrive today, the TS266. It's an adorable tiny fixie. I shall use it as a garlic knife. Oh, nice. So it's got a thin, slicey blade then, is my assumption. A garlic knife. Dedicated garlic. Good man. Good man. But I know you're a chef, right? Or a former chef. So it stands to reason that you would have a garlic knife. Hero Stick says, hey, Bob, is the Elishewitz and Les George Dirk with tiger stripes still finding its way into your... What? You mean this one? Yes, it is. I love this thing. This is just one of the best folding knives I have. And now I can't remember who made it. Is it Kunwu who makes this? It's one of the kind of luxury Chinese brands that aren't as common. Still finding a way. You're looking at one I found on the secondary for $440 new. Worth it? In my opinion, yes. It was my big purchase at Blade Show last year. I got some other stuff, but this was my expensive, my big purchase, and I think I paid $400 for this. And I would say yes. If knowing your taste and the knives you already have, yes, it is definitely worth it. It's such an awesome knife. It's beautiful too. If for what that's worth, and it's worth a lot in my book. Now they have two different blades. Is yours the dagger, or the one you're going to get, this dagger bayonet ground dagger style, or is it the one that's more? The other one has, I guess it's not as much of a spear point. I can't remember exactly what it is, but they have two different blades. Really great action too. Clark Henry says, SOG Techno Bowie. Great suggestion. Great suggestion. I just actually recently put that in my basket in my Amazon bin, just so that I wouldn't forget that it exists. Not that I'm about to buy it, but I want to, because that SOG Grunt, I don't know if you follow him, but he showed one off recently, and I was like, ooh, that's nice. There's also the SOG Seal Pup, which is great. I have that in my bag every day. There's also the old Buck 119. This thing is awesome. Probably doesn't get enough credit, but something that's great about this knife that you might like if you're looking for a mid-size Bowie is that beautiful, first of all, it's just beautiful. It feels great in the hand. Time-tested, kid-tested, mother-approved, just very time-tested knife. But that swedge is sort of zero ground. It's not sharpened. You can't slice cheese with it, but it comes that grind comes to a point. So if you want to use this as an all-around knife, including protection and possibly dueling, this would be great, because you could get a nice flicking back cut with it and get some great action off of that swedge. Not only due to the shape of the swedge, because even if this were stone cold dull, excuse me, even if that were totally dull, the shape of that swedge would give you good gouging action. But the fact that it comes to a zero ground point there, or edge there, means it's going to be even better at that, and it's going to go in nicely. These are pretty cool, I got to say. And then they also have a larger version, the 120. So that's good. But I really like the idea of the SOG Techno Bowie. That's a good one for sure. I love the look of the Mac V SOG. Michael Elliott says, the area above the guard is a grip area. Yes, the sword is a combo of my Gununting and the Murdoch in Pakal. It will be at Blade Show Atlanta for your viewing pleasure. Oh, baby. Sorry, Michael, I don't mean to call you baby, but wait, I'm sorry, Jim, can you just bring that back? I just want to look at that. Thank you. Oh, I can't wait to check that out. That is cool. Beautiful. All right. And congratulations. Ed says, Blade Show Texas was fun last week. It was my first show, and I got to meet a few YouTubers. How cool. Rob, Big Red, and Neves. Oh, man, that's awesome. I love Big Red. He's a great dude. Have a nice day. And as is Neve. Who's Rob? Rob. Which Rob? Okay. Sorry. Senior moment. Have a nice day says, I just got a beautiful handmade Bowie from Coster Custom Knives. He is a Forged in Fire winner, season 6, episode 7. The Javanese Chris. Oof. I remember that episode. I remember watching that episode and being, because they've never done a barong on that show. And correct me if I'm wrong, but they've never done a barong. But they have done a Chris, and they've done a Pira, and they've done all sorts of Filipino blades, but never the barong, which I'm like, how comes it? Victor Blade says, hey, Paisano, good to have you here. Can you show me how to install the Ulti-Clip on a Kydex sheath? I have a little Hinderer fixie, a Kaiser mini harpoon. Where do you put the Ulti-Clip to carry right pocket? Well, here's the question. Well, I don't have an Ulti-Clip on the table. Well, wait, no, I do. Sorry, let me just grab it. All right. Let me put these two knives away so I don't cut myself. This is the Partisan by Station 9 and the number 12 Undercover. Such a wicked, sweet little blade by Station 9. I have the Ulti-Clip here on my Pinkerton Custom Knives Cave Bear. And this is basically how I would suggest you do it. Now you can, so for pocket carry, right pocket carry, you can see how, I'm not sure which model Ulti-Clip you have, but you could mount it higher up, so these two slots on these two screws up here so that the whole Gadilla is up higher. The only thing is I have very little experience doing that on a sheath where the clip is mounted on the side. All of my pocket carry sheaths have the clip mounted dead center there. But I would try doing this, and I would try it on the back side first. In other words, the side that touches the seam closest to the center line, closest to 3 o'clock. That way, well, I'm not exactly sure why, but intuitively that seems right. Because that way it has no way to swing or to get too far out and then change its angle. You have it snugly nestled up against the right far pocket seam, closest to 3 o'clock, and then have it locked in there. But yeah, so you have your Chicago screws, I would assume, and make sure you have a little, the grommets in the middle. That makes a difference. And then, try it out. I think if you have it, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Here's the seam. I would put the clip here where it is, actually, because that way you have tension between here and then across the sheath, you have tension here because it's up against the seam. And I think that will keep it oriented the way you want. And remember, you might need to draw your knife fast, but you never need to put it back in fast. So especially with pocket carry, you want to be careful about that. Here, let me just pull this out so we can check it out. Ed says that QSP loop fixie won an award. I'm not sure which one that is now. QSP loop fixie. Have a Knife Day says the knife is a slender 7.5-inch Bowie, 12.5-inch oval stag handle. Oh, I'm sorry. 12.5-inch overall, stag handle, file worked collar, and butt cap, lanyard with whitetail, bison, and elk antler beads. God, that sounds beautiful. In a southwestern theme scabbard with antique leather. And I know you're carrying this on the outside, obviously on the outside, but you're probably walking around with it, which is super cool. Have a Knife Day says tools used on the sheath. Okay, so do you mean by that like it's tooled leather? OG Blade Reviews. Eck Integral folder is made by Ketuo and Reich. Oh, wait, is Ketuo part of Reich? Okay, thank you. I remember Ketuo, but I didn't know that Reich was involved. Craig Vincent, and thank you, Dave, for the information. And yes, Hero Sticks, it's definitely worth it. Craig Vincent says, serious question. I'm torn between getting a K-Bar Eck Commando or the Seal Pup Elite. This will be my last fixie purchase till I get a Laredo Bowie. Oh, very nice. So I have the Eck Commando dagger and the Seal Pup Elite. They're kind of different knives. The Seal Pup Elite is going to be smaller. The Eck Commando has a long handle and a 6-inch blade. It's like a 5.5-inch handle and a 6-inch blade or so. And the Seal Pup is smaller. It's going to be smaller and lighter. I'll tell you that. It's going to be lighter. But the question is, do you want a dagger or do you want a little Bowie? And I think the price difference is, well, I don't know. I did the Eck was a generous gift from Mr. Bowl here. So Jerry C says, I have the Seal Pup Elite. Really love that knife. A perfect EDC fixed blade, in my humble opinion. I tend to agree with you, Jerry. The Seal Pup, I don't have the Elite. I have the Walmart version, but I got the aftermarket sheath for it and the Kydex sheath. I have a soft loop on it. It's in my backpack all the time. And on occasion, if I'm at the office alone, this hasn't happened in a while, I always kind of put that in my belt and makes me feel better. Even though I have scores of other knives on me too, that is a great knife. Scotch and Things. Nice to have you here, Scotch and Things. Work Carry, SMF. Oh, very nice. Hinderer SMF and SOCOM Elite. Home Carry, Deadlock. I can see why that's your home carry. You don't want to accidentally have that fall out of your pocket out in public. I keep buying fixed blades, but never carry them. I think I'm going to, but I can't get behind it. Could be you getting bigger fixed blades. Sometimes that can be a problem. I have a lot of big fixed blades, and I never carry any of them, though they do come along for the ride for emotional support during the day. Never Enough Knives 007 says, may an off-grid Cayman XXL. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. That's nearing a large. It's a 7.5-inch, but it's also very wide. It's a big overall package. But that is a sweet knife. That's my dresser drawer knife. So if you sneak up on me while I'm retrieving my socks and underwear, you're going to get it. Jacob Green, nice to have you here, Jacob. I can't stop buying overbuilt monster knives. Why stop? I just bought a Cold Steel 4MAX Scout, and there is no end in sight. Do I have yes. That's why you're at a show called The Knife Junkie. Yes, you do. But it beats a lot of other problems. At least you don't have the problem where you can't stop buying cars or guns or guitars or things that are more expensive. Let's put it that way. Where do you keep all the cars? So you need more justifications. You've come to the right place. But until you find that perfect one, you're always going to be chasing the dragon. Hero Stick says that George and Elishewitz is indeed made by Ketuo, and the seller has one of each. But I'm all about that Dirk. I would agree. Yeah, it would be my first integral. This is my first one and only integral, and it is cool. And you know what? I don't think about that awesome, but it really does lend to the solidity of the feel of this knife, or the character. Something like I never feel like this, which is not integral, is not a solid knife, but something about this just has a character, a quality of solidness that I love. Both great knives, though. I love that Station 9 Partisan. Yes, it is sweet. And, you know, we could all kind of make one, just kind of buy the right butcher knife and spend some time at the grinder. Paul Mills says, I've got the new K390 Joke Woof from Edgy American Blades and a bug out today. Awesome. I love that knife. I love Shane, but I love the his knives too. An interesting story behind that one. Congratulations. I think that's the only one. Am I right? Alex Doss says, love the 119. Haven't seen the Techno yet. Gonna look into it for sure. Yeah, it is a good one, or a cool one. It's the SOG Bowie, except instead of stacked handles, it's got craton. It's got a craton grip, and I believe it's got blasted hardware. It looks really cool. Michael Upchurch, nice to have you here, sir. Sup, everyone. Well, I'm glad you asked. In about a little less than 15 minutes, we're going to be giving away this stupendously cool knife. This is the Tucson Knives TS370. It's titanium and D2. And by the way, no sniffing at D2, because if you've been watching Peterbilt Knife Guy's nail videos, which I love, by the way, and he just seems like a mensch, but the D2 steel is just crushing it. And also 1095. Who would think? But you know, of course, some of the classic simple steels. I know a lot of it depends on heat treat, but the D2 on some rather inexpensive and rather inglorious knives have been really shining out. So D2 titanium, that's a liner lock, which is great for a knife like this. And you have a really great ring. Even the girthiest of fingers will fit in there, and nice jimping on the ring so you can stop the motion. So we're going to give this away. All you got to do is hashtag knife in the comments. That's it. That's it. You don't have to write an essay. You don't have to tell me why you want it or what you'll do with it. Hashtag knife in the comments below, and you will go into the hopper for a random carry, a random number generated giveaway. Let's just say that. Paul Mills says, I need to get a leather sheath for my Joke Wolf. The Kydex scratches it. That's such a pain in the butt about Kydex. Strings, got your email, brother. Maybe you have a cool Pakal to trade. I don't own any. All right, let me think. Let me see. Let me see what I got. I mean, I do have cool Pakals, but one that I could possibly part with. We'll see. Let me see. I got. They all have some emotional attachment, I think, but whatever. I will get to it. I will look. Miranda Wilmore, nice to have you here, Miranda. Hey, y'all. Well, hey to you. Good to have you here with us. Let us know what you're carrying. Actually, I'm about to get to that, but let us know, Miranda, if you carry a fixed blade knife, how do you indeed carry it? We all live in some variation of civilization, and it's different, especially where I am. I definitely have to keep it under wraps, or I'll have pearl clutchers around me throwing stuff at me in the name of peace and tolerance. So, but let me know how you carry yours. Scotch and Things says, got some bigger fixed blades I have in the camper. I'd love to have a camper. How cool would that be? But I just can't seem to find that perfect EDC size. All right, maybe in a second I'll show you, because I was carrying a great one for EDC today. Ed says, TKL Booth had so many awesome fixed blade knives and their folder prototypes. Super cool guys. They have a great shirt just for checking them out. They gave a t-shirt just for checking them out. Definitely plan on owning one eventually. That said, Ed, that's a perfect segue to get to this. Let us now get to a pocket check.
What's in his pocket? Let's find out. Here's the Knife Junkie with his pocket check of knives.
My front right pocket today, I had the beautiful Kami by Artisan Cutlery. This is designed by one of my favorites out there, not just in terms of his designs, but in terms of he's just an awesome person. Dirk Pinkerton, this is his Kami. Kami is a knife maker in Nepal who makes kukris. So this is send up as a modern day folding kukri send up. It is great. I love this one. This is in S35VN. There's an all titanium version that has, I believe, 20 CV or M390. One of them exotic steels, one of those like super trendy steels. I can do S35VN all day long. Really great handle. You've got the thumb rest on the back that I really love. Nicely curved blade there. I mean, it's just beautiful, and it's got great action. And I like thumb discs. I'm going to use my right hand here. This is my favorite way of opening it. This is definitely a 4-finger closer for me. Can't really feel my way into there with my right thumb. My left thumb, it's no problem. But that's no fault of the knife. So I had the kami there. By the way, that's pork fat. Pork fat stains my micarta really nicely. If you're looking to force a patina on your micarta, just cut some ribs with it or something. Also, there's a little bit of blue on there because I was wearing brand new blue jeans. I had washed them once, but still, it's rubbing off on my micarta. That happens. That happens with new jeans, I've found. In my back left pocket, and also a new one since last we met here. This is the Diamondback Jack from Jack Wolf Knives, and gotta say, it is my favorite of the bolster locks. I have wanted him to do a bolster lock version of the Venom Jack for a long time, and here it is. And it's got that super beautiful Wharncliffe blade with the descending straight edge and a tip that's below the handle. And then you've got the trapper style handle, full height, hollow ground, S90V blade, super sharp, very, very acute. And then you have these machine ground pulls here that look like that, but really they're for sticking your fingers in and flicking open. I mean, I guess if you want to open it two-handed, you could use that. You wouldn't need to. It's definitely pinch openable. I love that this knife looks like an old piece of military kit with that olive drab linen micarta and the dark blasted, dark tumbled titanium bolsters, triple fluted up there, double fluted back there, full length bronzed back spacer. Looks a lot like like a jackknife or a slip joint spring, and then that beautiful pocket clip. I love the bronze, the gray, the olive drab, and then this is my first Jack Wolf knife with a stone washed blade, and I love it. So I had those two on me. This back left pocket. So for those of you wondering the perfect size of, you can't find the right size, here is the TKL Knives Combatant. I was carrying this today. I love this knife. It's a great little knife. I love the Adversary too, which is this handle with a Wharncliffe blade that is also super awesome. This fits my medium-sized hands really well. If you got giant mitts, it might be a little small, but it's okay because you can buy aftermarket handle scales from TKL that extend the handle by about a 1/2 inch or 3/4 of an inch. And once it passes the end of the tang, it sandwiches together. So there are no gaps or anything. Really ingenious idea. So, and then also a very slender sheath. I love this knife. But also, don't forget about the Night Stalker or its Pakal brother here, the MR1. These are great. This is the one that really got me carrying Front Scout. And this is the one that led to the design of the Agent 001 because it's got the same carry profile. So I would recommend the Agent 001 or any of the Agent series. They are also very EDC-able. So TKL knives, you cannot go wrong with. I'm convinced. I love them. And yeah, you're right. They're great people. The right sheaths. Here's a cool one. Here's the Agent 003. So this is the Night Stalker blade on our Agent handle. Really nice knife. And this one with denim micarta. It's patina-ing very nicely. Picking up a nice patina, I guess is how I should say. All right, my emotional support knife today was one I haven't brought about me in a while. I haven't really ever carried it. But today I had the Spartan Harzy Kukri on me. This thing is beautiful. And it was just a lark that I pulled this out. I've been really doing a lot of Bowie knife practice and then my Black Bear Classic, which you can do all the same kind of stuff with. And then I just decided to grab this because it's very different from everything I've been bringing along with me or practicing with. And this is such a great design. It's beautiful. It's got all of the benefits of the kukri and that curve and the chopping power and the balance forward. But the point isn't so radically far down. People, I shouldn't even say that. Even if it were a traditional kukri with that real curve, they're still pretty easy to thrust with. It doesn't have to be straight to thrust with it. But I like that this sort of walks that line between deeply recurved, but also somewhat straight. The point is kind of aligned with the pommel. So that's what I had on me today. I had the Kami from Artisan Cutlery. I had the Jack Wolf Knives Diamondback Jack. This drops tomorrow. If any of you are interested or like the Jack Wolf knives, this one drops tomorrow. Very, very nice knife. TKL knives, Combatant, and of course, the one I just showed you, the Spartan Harzy Kukri. All right. So yes, I would say TKL, awesome. If you want to spend a little bit more and want a custom, I love the knives of Matt Chase and Hogtooth Knives. Make some really beautiful stuff, and they are handmade. Miranda says, need a new knife to carry, but something smaller that will fit into a woman's pockets. Our pockets are smaller than men's and a little annoying. Yes, I know. So are you thinking, Miranda, are you thinking a fixed blade? Are you looking for a folder? My wife carries, and she carries knives, and she complains about her shallow pockets, even in jeans. It's like, you don't have to make them that shallow. Oftentimes she ends up putting it in the waistband on her hip. But she's been loving, I've given her a lot of knives, but lately she's really into the Civivi Elementum and the Sen Cut. I can't remember what it's called, but they're both small-ish folders and somewhat thin. All right, guys, let's hear some good suggestions for small pockets. There are a lot of them. And let me know, Miranda, if you're talking fixed. Craig Vincent said, that Tucson is very sharp. I had one and it passed around. I passed it around at gathering and it took about 3 minutes before someone needed stitches. People. It's funny. Some people you'll meet, they're like, oh, I could never carry a knife. I'd cut myself immediately. And I'm always like, no, you wouldn't. Who does that? And then it's true. Some people do. OG Blade Reviews. And by the way, I am also guilty. That's why I can't feel anything in my thumb. I've done plenty of stupid things with knives. OG Blade Review says, Ketuo distributes and Reich manufactures. The Wu brothers. Oh, very cool. All right. Interesting. And I say, because this really does feel a cut above. And I feel like Reich is like that. Definitely with the Microtech that I have made by them. And then all the sculptural stuff that I don't like necessarily, wouldn't want to carry, but I recognize takes incredible skill to make. So that makes sense. And thank you, Dave. James Hart says, as my uncle, who was a blacksmith, once said, it's more about how you cook it than what goes into it. He made a few knives, but he was more into repairing farm equipment. How cool is that? Yeah, I feel like I've met a number of people who from farms. Well, like the Willie Knife family. That's how it started for them. Michael Elliott said, I've been carrying a K-bar-esque blade tucked at the 3 o'clock in a static cord. Very nice. So a little clip point blade with the stacked leather handle. I like it. Hero Sticks, Miranda Wilmore at a higher price point. The Three Rivers Manufacturing Nerd is a really good option. Yeah, that is a good one. Isn't the Nerd, or maybe not. a double detent. I'm not sure. Love the purple one. Aha. This is a cool thing about TKL knives. And actually, they just came out with the PB1 that was just PD1 or PB1. Someone let me know. That Stephen Clayton Jr. was just mentioning. And that's the thing about this company is they have like 30 and counting different handle materials. I have a couple of different purple handles from them with either this swirly burl kind of thing or layered black, purple. And I do too. It's the color of royalty and holiness and awesomeness, one might say. Jacob Green says, the problem with using pork fat to stain my Carta is that it makes a knife non-kosher. Yeah, I think you're right about that. I don't have to worry about that, but actually I know a number of people who would have to worry about that. So if you are a goy like myself, go for it. If not, there are plenty of other things. You generally don't want to use anything food oriented because it will go rancid. But my XM18 was fully impregnated with the rib fat for about a year until it all eventually got sucked out into the cotton of my pockets. But what I was saying, Miranda, that check out the little drop point from TKL that just came out, and it's a great little knife. It's like a 3-finger knife, and you get any handle style you want, any handle color you want, because they have so many of them. It says, carried the Prince Customs Protean. That is such a cool one. And I just saw he released that with a sort of a Warncliffe blade. Here he is. Stephen Clayton Jr. says, this is what he had on him today. The TKL Agent 001, 002, and 003. The DP1, that's the one I was talking about, the little one. The DP1, the Raider, the Taylor's Ridge, the Combatant, the FLN, the CW folder, the CW camera wife folder, the Night Guard 2.0, the Night Stalker CG, the Night Hawk, the Accomplice, the Gideon 3, which is a cool one. That's kind of like a little bit bigger version of the Night Stalker kind of. The Piranha, the Wingard Wearables Micro Dick Pick, and a Glock 43X MOS. What does the MOS stand for? I have a Glock 43. It's not an X. It's the old school 7, 6 in the magazine, 1 in the chamber style. And I've thought about it, but I think the next one I get won't be a Glock. I think I'm too Glocked up. I want to try something else. Random giveaway. It is time. Thank you, Jim. Keeping me honest as always. Let me put away this beautiful TKL Knives 001. God, look at those double edges. All right. Here, we're giving this one away. Let's do it right now. #knife. Let's do it. Okay. Let's see. Okay, here it comes. We got 52 entries for this beautiful Tucson knives. Now, what happens is we're going to spin the wheel. Well, there's not a wheel. Just imagine a wheel. And we will land on someone's name. And then you, whoever that person is, will email me at TheKnifeJunkie@gmail.com. Email me your address. I get this in the mail to you on the morrow. Tomorrow I have a day where I can do that. So let's do this now. In 3, 2, and 1. There it goes. There it goes. It always does a little tease. It'll stop and then it'll. Yeah. Victor Blades. There we go. See how it almost looked like Paul Mills and then Victor Blades. There you go, Paisan. Victor Blades, this is yours. You got to let me know where you live or let me know where you want me to send this to. And I will get this in the mail to you tomorrow. Just email your address to TheKnifeJunkie@gmail.com. This thing is awesome. I'm going to play with it tonight while we're doing the show, and then I will get this in your hot little hands. Now, the box that it came in, I don't think it was the original Tucson box, but Tucson boxes, you don't care about that anyway. This thing is awesome. You're going to love it. And remember, it's for work. It's for cutting carpets and that kind of thing. Okay, let's hear what Dave was carrying. Always a good thing. OG Blade Reviews. Well, before I read his thing, he's the guy who gave us this, and you have to check out. I'm sure you're already there, but if you don't, aren't subscribed to OG Blade Reviews and Dave's channel, you have to. Not only is his collection incredible, very, very broad and wide and varied, but he's just a brilliant dude, and he's an old adept. I don't mean old, but he's been training in Filipino martial arts forever, and trained with many of the greats, and really knows what he's talking about, especially when he's talking about tactical knives and fighting knives. Okay, today's carry, Cold Steel Carve, the Microtech Stitch Auto. The Weebla Cow. That's my envy knife. That's the one that brings out the envy in me. That makes me so ashamed that I feel this way. Such a beautiful knife, the Weebla Cow, designed by Miguel Barbudo over there in Spain. That guy lives the life. Oh my God. He lives on like this farm in Spain and makes knives. Pinkerton Standoff Prototype. Oh, the Standoff. Yeah, that's an awesome one. That's a beautiful Warncliffe. Look out for that one. That's going to be coming out soon. The Riot Mini Crossroads, the Custom Knife Factory Terzuola Eagle Rock, and the Olight Warrior Mini 3. Oh my gosh, man. Making me jealous and envious. The Cold Steel Carve, that's a cool one. That's a newish one from them. And I saw that you posted that on Instagram today. Reversed Polarity. Nice to have you here, Reversed Polarity. Work Tough Gear Nomad Bushcrafter is my go-to EDC fixie. The Bushcrafter. I know the Nomad. I think I know which one it is. It's one that Scab has, one of his smaller Work Tough gears. Very nice. I love Work Tough gear, and all I have out on the table from them is this giant V44 X Bowie, but why not use that as a perfect excuse to pull this out and put it on the table? I'll just put it there for eye candy. What was Hero Sticks about to say? Carried kind of a little retro today, like 2022, 2023 Kaiser Feist in burlap micarta and a Finch Takuna. That is retro? I was just carrying, what was I? Oh, the other day when I went to, had to go to Virginia Beach, I had my my road trip knife, my Microtech SOCOM Elite from 2012. And that's somewhat old in my collection, I gotta say. Cheeto says, carried an Emerson CQC 15, excellent choice, and a Hogue EX-A05. I'm not sure which one that is, but it's one of those cool Hogues. Miranda says, I carried my Swiss Army knife Cybertech tool today. That's a cool one. Wait. I always get this mixed up. Is the Cyber tool the one that's got the does that have the little drive on it? Have you ever seen the Swiss Army knife with the drive, the little thumb drive? It can't be that. What's on the side? What's the unique thing about the Cyber tool? Let me know. Adrian Fighter 35 says today's carry was the Cold Steel 4MAX Scout, my Double Agent 1 serrated neck carry. That Double Agent 1, that's the Hawk build one with serrations. That's just utterly devastating. Those are cool and light and thin and fast. I love Cold Steel. 5-Door, nice to have you here, sir. As always. Greetings, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Greetings to you, sir. 5-Door is another gentleman junkie, and he's another guy with an incredible collection. Ed, Pink Spyderco Dragonfly. Pink, Spyderco Dragonfly, I'm with you on that. I only like the pink blades. I have 2 pink knives, and I like them. Well, one of them my daughter gave me a long time ago, she told me to buy myself a pink knife for Christmas in her name, and so I did. The other is the Broken Skull from Cold Steel. I only like pink handled knives when they have black blades. That's kind of a rule I have. Anyway, On the Edge 72, Spyderco Dragonfly for a folding option for women. Yeah, and it's really ergonomically stout. I mean, it's like feels great in the hand. It's got a great little blade, and it does fold up into a small package. Odium is great small. says Dwayne Letterman. Dwayne, nice to have you here, man. The Odium. Send Cut Arc Blast. Yes, I had that for a little while, says Thomas McDonald. Thomas, thanks for joining us, sir. And that's a good suggestion. That Arc Blast, it's got a very light but sturdy aluminum frame, and it's got a button lock. It's great to fidget with, but it's an awesome cutter. Kind of wish I didn't give that away. I don't remember who I gave that to or if we did a giveaway of that knife, but that was a cool one. Clark Henry says, lightening out the front, lightweight and intimidating. Yeah, but the one problem, Clark, with that is it's a pretty longish. It's got a 3.5-inch blade, and the handle is pretty long. So for women's jeans, it might be difficult. The Cyber. Oh, yeah. The Cyber tool. That's cool because it's got the, thank you, Jim. It's got the bit driver, and the bits actually fold in there. That is cool. And I like the little mini eyeglasses screwdriver that goes into the corkscrew. I just had to use that yesterday. I have it on my compact. My one side of my glass is always loose. It drives me nuts. Miranda, check out Edgy American Blades. His Thug model is a great size for EDC. Plus, you have some good steel options. I think it's a badass design. Yeah, I like that Thug. It's kind of a Wharncliffe or sheep's foot style blade. Very nice. Todd Carr says, small pockets for women, swags. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Swags designs from CJRB and Rosecraft are good and priced and have good prices as well. And Swags is a woman and designs for, I don't want to say she designs for women, but she designs with her own needs in mind. So yeah, that's a great idea. This is also a great idea. The Spyderco Native 5, and then the midi Native, or there's a smaller version of the Native that's also great, is a great size for small pockets and large tasks. I like the way you put that. Small donut knife, out the side auto. Is that, Ed, is that the Boker? Is that in the Boker line? Cooper Clark says, my wife loves her Protec Sprint. Benchmade mini bug out. Bug out's a great suggestion, and I would imagine the mini is even better. I love my bug out. Dirk Pinkerton, Little Main Street. Yes. That's made by Concept Knives. Concept with a K. And Spyderco Chaparral. Yeah, the Chaparral. I always thought that was somewhat limited, but maybe I'm wrong. Strings said, great pocket carry, Spyderco Dragonfly. I'm sorry, great small pocket carry. Hit the like button, ya junkies. Oh, thank you, by the way. Yes, do hit the like button. Hey, Jim, can we go to a quick commercial? Do you have anything lined up? Stephen Clayton Jr. says, DP1 from TKL Knives is great for small pockets. The public drop is on the 15th. Awesome. I have something I want to get. Before
LaunchCart gives you everything you need to showcase and sell your custom blades professionally, all for just $27 a month. With unlimited products, built-in SSL security, and a drag-and-drop store builder, you can create a stunning storefront in minutes without any coding knowledge. What sets LaunchCart apart is its knife business-friendly features, like back-in-stock notifications, integrated upsell capabilities, and a professional review system to showcase customer feedback. Plus, with mobile-ready designs and a professional checkout process, your customers get a seamless buying experience. Try it free for 14 days and see why knife makers are making the switch from Shopify to LaunchCart. Get LaunchCart today. Visit TheKnifeJunkie.com/launch. That's TheKnifeJunkie.com/launch.
Okay, thank you. Here's one, Miranda. This one is sweet. This is from Pepperwool Knives, and this is called the Merino MM. You just go to pepperwool.com, just like it sounds, pepper and wool, the Merino. And this is S35 VN. Great little sort of axis lock style knife. And I really like this. The guy who designed it is brilliant. He like literally brilliant. He's got a big brain. He's been on the show, and I don't know, man. The knife world lucked out when he decided to slum it with us, because he could be building rockets and stuff. But this thing is super cool. He had a lot to do with the rebranding of SOG back before they when they were coming out of their big box era and before they sold out to GSN, they had a little time of like resurgence, and this guy really led the charge for them on the design side. And now he's got his own company called Pepperwool, and this is a small knife, and it is very capable and very cool. And it's about a 3-finger knife for me, and I have medium-sized hands. So this might really fit the bill if you want something small. DP1 from TKL Knives is a great for small pockets. The public drop is on the 15th, says Stephen Clayton. Yeah. And then all you got to do is just put a little DCC clip on there or something like that, and that would be great. Todd Carr says TKLs are great for self-defense blades, but for EDC, they are thick blades. And edge retention on ADC RV2 is pretty bottom of the barrel. Two things. What are you doing with your knife that ADC RV2 doesn't do it for you? I'm just curious. Probably a hell of a lot more than I do with mine. I'll give you that, Todd. But also you can get a AEBL on most models as well. But I've heard, who was I talking to? Just someone was just talking about ADC RV2, and it was Tom Nugent was talking about it because that's a blade steel he uses a lot. And I don't know, I haven't had any issues with it, and I have used quite a bit his 2 knives in ADC RV2 for whittling, and they've been pretty good. So maybe it does depend on the heat treat, but I hear you, Todd. Don't mean to marginalize your comment. Ouchie EDC says, howdy, Ouchie. Good to have you here. Craig Vincent says, Cold Steel 3V 8010. Sounds nice. Swift 3 in M4. Love M4. Well, I loved the M4 on my Contigo, I should say. XL Voyager Chris, nice choice. SR1 Light Tonto. Slockmaster. I'm not sure what that is. Spyderco PM3 Lightweight Magna Cut. Ritterhogue RSK. And A-Meat Gladiator. A-Meat Gladiator. Let me show you this. This is a new knife I got from Knives by Nuge, Tom Nugent out of New Jersey. Let's see, Tim's heat treat and nickel boron coating makes ARCDV 80 CRV2 on point. Yeah, that nickel boron coating does add an element of extra. What is it? An extra point of hardness, though. Granted, I don't think that's on the edge, but still. This is the Primitive Wicket XL. I love the Primitive Wicket that I've been carrying as a neck knife ever since Blade Show last year. Love this thing, and he just perfected his ambidextrous sheath and sent this to me. I love it. I love pocket carry fixed blades with these kind of sheaths. Now I have 2 of them, that one and the one I was showing you before by Armis. But this thing is really great. Mostly he sells these in a full flat grind or a high flat grind with regular G10 or micarta scales. But his primitive version has the Scandi grind and this jute cord. And like I mentioned before, I love jute. Love the way it feels, and it keeps the knife really slim. But if you have a broad handle like this, you still have a lot to grip onto. So I really dig this one. It's got a 90-degree spine, throws sparks really nicely. I lit a little fire on my desk here for the video where I did an up-close video on this. And this one is ADC RV2. Now, granted, this is his main steel, and so he's got his heat treatment down really well for this. So, yeah, I love it. I'm very, very happy with it. And this sheath, his ambidextrous sheath, really nails it. I love this style of sheath, and I'm glad to see it going further and wider. I think the guy, a lot of people claim to be the progenitors of this. I think it was Tracker Dan who really started it going, and then Offensive Industries and Gypsy EDC and various other guys started making them, and really love that. And I have one other cool new acquisition to show. OG Blade Reviews says, highly recommended small fixie, the Vosteed Mink. Small knife holds large, 3.3 inch blade and highly concealable. That sounds awesome. I don't think I know that one. James Hart, so close, but no knife. All my luck is not good. Oh, man. All your luck is not good? I doubt that. I doubt that, sir. But I hear you. I haven't won anything since I won a mini iPod like 20 years ago. Strings says, in my pocket, the Rockstead Higo 2. Ooh, we have an aristocrat. Those Rocksteads are awesome, man. They are so beautiful. And Cold Steel Black Talon. I got a chance to hold a Rockstead once, and I just wanted to put it down so fast because it wasn't mine, and I was so worried. It was at Blade Show, people moving around, and it's like, oh God. They're so nice, though. Will B says, I had my DeMarco machine ground 8020S, original goat tie scales. Very nice. Microtech Amphibian, my favorite knife from last year. Spyderco PM2, the Microtech Hera 2, the T-Kel Guardian, Appendix Cross Draw. Oh, I didn't have the Guardian. I had something else. Preferred Carry, Ace Beam TAC 2AA, and Cool Hand G10 Bolt Pen. Very nice, sir. Very nice. Blessed Knives. Good to have you here, Donnie. Good evening, Knife Junkies and all. I'm always late to the party. Hey, me too. And then I always leave, not this party, but I believe in the Irish goodbye, unless it's a small dinner party or something like that. But anyway, good to have you here, Donnie. I've been checking out some of your like blade shapes for the Ripley. They're so cool. Each one different, just a little bit different, just a little bit special, or a lot special. If you guys don't follow Blessed Knives, do yourself a favor and check him out on Instagram. Beautiful handmade folders. My God, he loaned me 2 for about a month, and they were just so gorgeous and well made and felt great in hand. And he didn't need a hardened steel insert to have very, very smooth locking and unlocking. Very nicely done stuff. All by hand. Ron Dobbins, nice to have you here, Ron. The Knife Junkie. Hello. Hello, sir. Good to have you. Pardon me, I've been drinking a lot of water. And anyway, Ray Herman, nice to have you here, Ray. Cold Steel Tough Light is also a good 5th pocket carry. Yeah, I like the Tough Light a lot. We have one in our bathroom mirror, a serrated one. And it's AUS 8 steel. And every once in a while, I'll check it for rust because it's in a very humid space. But that steel is awesome. And the way Cold Steel he treats it, importantly, makes it really good. Jeremy Nedro says, I'm carrying a Kaiser October Civivi Cache in Damascus, 15V Para 3, Olight 15T, and my Ruger EC9. Lots of numbers and letters. The EC9, that's I like that gun. Ron Dobbins says, today I carried my Microtech Annex, titanium scales, and Rockwall. So that Annex, that's a knife made by Reich, right? They make the Annex and the Bravo. Rockwall in titanium scales, and a Chavez Prybar titanium pen and notepad. Very nice. Ron, do you have a preference for notepad? And if you answer, please put notepad in your answer because I'm a flake and I will forget. I'll be like, what is he talking about? Moleskin? What does that have to do with knives? Renee Ramon, nice to have you here, Renee. NKD for me. Wait, what's NKD? NKD for me, carried a grail of mine. Transparent knives, 940 reblade, number 98 in K390 with a hollow grind. Yeah, that sounds awesome. He does spectacular work and is a really cool guy too. And I follow him and I see these reblades, these 940 reblades, and each, there are a lot of different blade shapes he does. So I wonder what yours looks like. Ed says, yeah, the Boker Kalashnikov Mini Desert Warrior for women is a nice option. Oh, Mini Desert Warrior. I'm sorry, Desert Warrior. That's the one that looks like the donut. James Hart says, well, I wore my Kyoto 2 neck knife from Cold Steel. And my left hip. Oh, I'm sorry. And I think that you meant on. And on my left hip, my Buck 117 Brahma. Great little sheath knife. That's one of your favorites. If I remember correctly, that's one of the absolute favorites of yours. Miranda. Oh, I love the little SOG key knife for my keychain. I use that a lot too. Yeah, my wife has one on hers, the little black one with a little tanto blade. Mike Hauser, the pepper with the white skin, the pepper wool with the white salt could be called salt and pepper. Yes, it could. It also looks rather dessert-like to me. This is a sturdy, stout little knife. I like this thing a lot. This has done a lot of time in my back right pocket as well. Craig Vincent, I must know a different kind of woman. I've given a Kubi Titius to 3 different women, and they love it for the robustness. I also gave a Tokyo Spike to a female singer, and she wears it as a necker. No, I don't think you know it. I think I shouldn't say that. Most of the women I know like knives and biggish ones, but can't carry them in their little pockets. You can throw stuff in your purse and stuff like that, but if you're going for a walk or whatever, you need something on your person. Love what Hero Stick says. I love what Knives by Nuge is doing. Simple, high quality, and off the beaten path a bit. Yeah, all outdoor stuff. But he's a former cop and a Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy for a long time, so he knows a lot about self-defense too. And all of these can flex into that. Victor Blade says, hey, Paisano, I sent you an email. How cool is this? I never win anything. The Knife Junkie, the best knife channel around. Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Very kind words, and I think Jim and I soak it up. So thank you, man. Seth Lang, nice to have you here, Seth. Good evening, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Late again. It's all right. It's all right. We're all here. Creeper Knives says Creeper Knives consistently drops small batches of Pikal style and other defensive blades. Fred Perrin has great lightweight defensive designs too. Yes, you're right about that. Creeper Knives, yeah. I follow him, and he's got some cool little Pikal knives. But I'm with you on the Fred Perrin, because Fred Perrin knives, if you look him up, I actually keep a small one on the back of my work ID that I have to wear kind of around my neck. I keep it tucked under the shirt, but I have strapped to the back of it one of his little finger hook knives. It's really cool. He's got a bunch of those little different kind of knives. Todd Carr says EDC V2, 1084, and 1095 all have around the same edge retention based on HRC, that is, and are easily sharpened. But most modern steels will outperform it by a large margin. All right. Yeah. I mean, you can't deny that. That is for sure. I guess you go for the EDC V2 and the 1095 for like toughness. And so on a bigger blade or like an outdoorsy blade, those things might come in handier than, say, you wouldn't want to put EDC V2 on an EDC knife. You wouldn't want to put it on this, something you're cutting with all the time, and you don't want to have to sharpen it all the time. I think that's a good point for sure. Craig Vincent says, Bob, the Tim Wells Slockmaster is a variant of the Cold Steel Double Safe Hunter. It has a different blade shape and is red. Slockmaster. So I can't help but think Schlockmaster, and schlock is a word my mom uses for like something that's like schlocky art is like cheap, pedestrian, and kind of lowbrow. I don't know. Is that what it's supposed to mean, or is schlock something totally different? Let me know. Split and Slices says, my carry today is my off-grid Ridgeback Bushcrafter. Oh, that's a cool one. Is that they have two, a full flat ground and a Scandi ground. Which one is that? Just came in from the campfire, and an old timer 120T Little Jack. Very nice. Let me know which Ridgecraft you have. Mike Link Music. Nice to have you here, Mike. I absolutely love Thursday Night Knives. My favorite night of the week. How awesome. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. I love Thursday Night Knives because I can just come here and talk with you guys. And, it's a lot of fun for me. It's not, there's no pressure like with doing an interview. Not that I feel tremendous pressure, but I want to do a good job and really want to find out certain things. And then the weekly show takes more time. This I just love. It's a hangout. I love it. War Room EDC, nice to have you here. What up, y'all? Well, what up with you? How you doing, man? Northern Knife says, I keep a Kershaw folder in the kitchen windowsill for random package opening, etc. My wife doesn't even like me to close it because she's such a knife noob. She doesn't like to operate it. How funny is that? That Mike of Northern Knives' wife is a knife noob. That's endearing, I gotta say. Hero Stick says, Craig Vincent, funny you mentioned the Kubi Titius, we'll say. That has been my flicking knife for the duration of the show tonight. Gets smoother and smoother. Oh, cool. Which one is that? I wonder if I know what that is. All right, let me show you this one. So this one is funny because it had a super loose sheath, and then all of a sudden it's got a super tight sheath. And the only thing that changed is I had it near the stove while I was cooking. Not that close to the stove that I would think it would affect the sheath, but apparently it did. Anyway, this is the 12-inch cold steel Magnum Tonto. And I love it. I love it. It feels so good in hand. I mean, just to move it around, it's so light but it's big and it's so sharp. It's got the, VG10 Sanmai and a beautiful hollow ground blade. It's got the real extreme American Tonto tip with the flat ground front and that secondary tip I never remember the name of, and a beautiful handle. Let me show you with the OG. So this is where is it? Right here. This is the one that really, it wasn't my first knife, but this was my first fancy expensive knife when I bought in the 80s as a high schooler. And this is the cold steel Tonto 6-inch this was made in Japan, Tonto by Cold Steel, Ventura, California, with the typewritten letters. And this is the one that's always been by my bedside. I've had this one forever, and I love it. And I've always wanted this 12-inch version, but drifted away for years and years, and now I'm back and loving the cold steel Tonto. So I had to get the 12-inch just to have it, So I've been carrying this in my bag, in my backpack, and it reminds me of a wakizashi. It's so kind of long, but not as long as a wakizashi. It's about 5 inches shorter, but still, it's got that beautiful Tonto blade. I just love the way the hollow grind looks. It's so menacing, and one of my few Sanmai blades. That grippy texture is so good to keep it in your hand. Got the aluminum. I think that's aluminum pommel. Yeah, it feels like aluminum. And just a great, great knife. I'm so psyched to have this. It makes me want to get the Warcraft series 12-inch Tonto just for fun. And, this is just for fun too. I'll set this down here. Very, very excited and happy to have that. I just need to get Cold Steel to send me free stuff. Wouldn't that be awesome? I don't think they do that too much, but I would love that. One of the definitions of the word slock means to quench or extinguish. Oh, okay. That's better than schlock. Yeah, slock. Slake. What's slake? Isn't slake also a word? String said, sorry for missing conversation in chat. Driving home to Southern Illinois from New Orleans. How awesome. And listening to the show. So how was New Orleans? I take it from your avatar and from what you just said that you're a music fan. Have you ever been to Jazz Fest down there in New Orleans? It's really cool. only been once, but it was awesome. Bobby Rains, nice to have you here, Bobby Rains, maker of exquisite Bowie knives. Definitely go check him out on Instagram, Bobby_Rains. Bobby_Rains, I believe. But anyway, evening, everyone. Running late this week. So the knife you have in your avatar looks like it's got it looks kind of like a bagwell. And your knife, the knife you made for Rolando Escatada, reminds me a little bit of it. But I love just beautiful work, man. Beautiful, beautiful knife and beautiful Damascus. Very cool stuff. Definitely check out Bobby Rains. And actually, Bobby, you and I need to talk like for an hour on the show. That'd be awesome. Todd Carr says, Northern Knives, my wife is the same way. She has this fear of folding knives, LOL. No real problems with fixed blades, but will only use it when it's out of the sheath if it's Kydex because of the click. Wait, did I read that right? Fixed blade, but while will only use it when it's out of the sheath if it's Kydex because of the click. Yeah. Todd, do you mean that she doesn't like to tug it out because she's worried about cutting herself because it kind of like flies free? I feel like I know that feeling. Another guy I'd like to talk to, Peterbilt Knife Guy. Good to have you here, sir. You and me both. What? About what? I like the sheath on that. That looks cool. What? You and me both about what now? I was talking about your nail test before. Was it something about that? Anyway, nice to have you here, Peterbilt. James Hart says, when Cold Steel came out with the Magnum Tonto back in 1981, I wanted one so badly. It only took me 44 years to get one. That's basically, yeah. And it was worth the wait. I wish I could carry it on my belt. Was this large one out in 81? I know that that this one was out. Well, this one I got in like 87 or 88. And I know it had been around for a while, but I didn't know that had the different size models. Cold Steel sending us stuff. Oh, okay. Yeah. Wouldn't that be awesome? Yep, the click when pulling it out because of retention. So Todd, this one, like I said, it went from like loose, like I need to get another one, either return it or buy a new one, to now it's like disconcertingly, and also when I'm doing this, I'm also conscious to exert force down on the spine so that as I'm pulling it out, I'm not dulling it on the sheath material here, this Secure X, which I know a lot of people, like Scab made a video about how he doesn't like Cold Steel sheaths very much because there's always contact with the edge. Now this one, I feel like there's enough give that when I'm pulling it out, if I'm just kind of pushing it against the spine, it's not touching. But yeah, this thing is cool. Yeah, it only took me however long to get it. It's not like I haven't spent a lot of money on other knives in the meantime. Just kind of makes you wonder. Speaking of great song lyrics, I was listening to Breathe by Pink Floyd just randomly before the show, and I was like, oh my God, it's my life. Split and Slices says, my off-grid knives Ridgeback is the version 1 with the Scandi ground. Okay, I got that one. I have that one. I really like that. I have the off-grid knives Tracker V1 Camper, which is full flat ground Cry D2, both 5-inch blades. That one, the Tracker, is awesome. I actually, of all of them, besides the Cayman XXL, which I love because it's a big gnarly Bowie knife, but of all of the off-grid knives I have, and I have a lot of them, the Tracker has the best blade. I think to me, it's got the best blade I've used from them for just noodling around the campfire. Gring says, that's not an avatar. It's a picture of me. Oh my God. I totally thought that was Stevie Ray Vaughan. That's awesome. Of me on stage with my Strat. Caught a little of Jazz Fest last year. Down for Mardi Gras this year. Great food and music. Oh man, you're living the life, Strings. That looks awesome. That's a nice Stratocaster there. Trying to see. Do you have the traditional? So my brother is a big Stratocaster fan, and I would say collector, but I think at this point he's sold most of them off, but he had a whole bunch of them, and he would make Franken Stratocasters, like different necks and pickups on, switch everything around. And I was always a sucker for, and I'm not a guitar player, but I was always a sucker for the look of the big fat headstock from, I don't know, the early 80s maybe. Like the one that you have in your picture is beautiful as well, but I always loved that big rounded fat headstock that, I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Such beautiful guitars. James Hart says, yep, and all 3 sizes of the Magnum Tonto. Okay. I remember seeing the ads in the back of magazines. Remember magazines? Oh, that's like the internet on paper, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. And you remember when they first came out with the folding Tontos? They were like, I can't remember what they called them, but they were very pre-Voyager, pre-integral plastic clip and all of that. I used to have one, and I gave it to my cousin way back when, and now I'm like, still have that? I'm sure it's gone with the wind. But Craig Vincent says, Bob, I have the Magnum, and it is between the size of the 2 you have. I love it. Oh, so you've got the 7.5-inch one. I love it. It was on sale at Midway USA a few months ago at a ridiculous price, so I couldn't resist. This is what I need to do. I need to go to Midway and Chicago Knife Works when I go on these little cold steel benders, because they have the best prices. They have the best prices on the cold steels. Like this one, I got this one. This, I love this. This I practice with every morning. This and my new, let me see, where is it? My new Black Bear Classic. These are my 2 lately that I'm really, and now that I have so I guess 3. Now that I have the Tonto, I've been using that a lot too. But these things are so beautiful and all American. These 2 all American designs. This Musso Bowie. I love this because it's got that clip point for that sharpened back clip for back cuts. I love that. And then this just has the entire thing is sharp. Everything about this blade is sharp. It's so, oh God, it's so appealing to me. And I love the feel of the sub hilt, especially when you're swinging it around. Just be sure the cat and no one else, be sure the door is closed. Cat and dog are somewhere far away while you're doing this, because heaven forbid you should accidentally do something. But you get a really cool security there. You can kind of hold it like a drumstick if you're using it for snap cutting and percussive stuff. It really gives you positive grip. I love these things. I'll set this down right there. Big time into the cool cold steels. There's no substitute. I mean, really, no one does what they do. No one does what they do in terms of making cool. Well, while I'm at it, I'm going to show you one more, and I'm going to stop saying cool. Anthony Kitchen, nice to have you here, man. Hey, Bob, missed several lives, but thank you for all the great content. I'm considering a Kitsune model from Bark River. Oh, go for it, man. Bark River knives. I'll show you mine in a sec. I have one out on the table, but I just wanted to finish with my cold steel rave. This Cinque Dia is so cool. Oh, I said it. Damn. So compelling. It's like a pizza slice shaped dagger. This is a sidearm of the 15th century paisan walking the streets of Italy. I think it's just, I've always thought they were beautiful. They got a bunch of these at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York, and a couple in the Cleveland Art Museum, which also has a great arms and armor room and gallery. And I always thought that these were just so interesting. And Cold Steel makes one. Go figure. See, that's what I mean. No one is like Cold Steel, making all of these, not only modern things, but also museum type pieces that are, battle ready. It's got to be battle ready. Otherwise it's a wall hanger, but super nice. And then this great sheath. Jay Demeter says, aloha, Bob and gang, running late. Aloha to you, Jay. Great to hear from you out there in the beautiful state of Hawaii. Great way to practice neutering flies in your house. Exactly. I've neutered a few. Oh, it's funny. We just got a new rug and a new couch, and when we moved the old one, there was a mummified mouse under the couch that I guess the cat had scared into a corner and never left, and it just sort of died there. And not funny, but kind of funny how he was mummified. I picked him up. He was like a cracker. String says it's a 40th anniversary American Strat in Caribbean Mist. My uncle left me when he passed. May he rest in peace. And it's awesome. I noticed a Fender bass behind you. Do you play? Yes, sporadically. I used to be really good. I used to play a lot. But that was years ago. I can still pick it up, and let's see. I would say about a year ago, I could do Deantown. I don't know if you know that song, but it's a really bass heavy tune by this band called Wolfpack, and I could play that along with the song pretty damn well. But I haven't played in a band for years and years, and I used to love it. I used to overplay though, and now I know as a bass player you should learn to lay back a little. You don't always have to be flashy, and I used to like to be flashy. See, bass players, can be impressive too, that kind of thing. Craig Vincent says, Bob, when you're slinging around those large cold steel knives, you get to say anything you want. That's right. Jay Demeter says, my wife, listening to you talk about knives, and she said it sounds like you're talking about your children. Yes. No, actually, I do talk about my children that way. They are amazing. They're just not as, no, I'm just kidding. They're not as easy. They talk back more. That's it. They talk back more. No, that's funny, Jay and Mrs. J. No, I love my daughters very, very much, but this is our time to get together. And, I brag about them all the time. So this is a time for me to brag about something else. Emery Austin, nice to see you here, Emery. Man, I used to play. I've been itching to get a cheap guitar to diddle. Just do it. Just get a cheap guitar, get a used one or whatever, and have it around. Speaking of my daughters, I ended up buying a small bass, hoping that they would get into it, a small scale bass, and neither of them really are musically inclined or that interested in that direction. So I still keep it around, hoping that, or not hoping, but on the occasion, or let's see, what am I trying to say? I still keep that small bass around just in case they become interested. But anyway, this is Bark River. You will love this knife if you were saying the Kitsune, which is Japanese for fox. I just so happen to know. But this is the Shining Mountain Bowie. I love this one. This is a Mike Stewart design. Like he came up with this particular Bowie blade shape, and it's done the rounds from a number of different knife companies for whom he has worked. So, but this is by far the coolest, in my opinion. But I think he made it originally and first for Winchester knives, if I'm not mistaken. And they used this blade shape in Inglourious Basterds and Shining Mountain from BRK, says Byron. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I love this thing. But not as much as my daughters. Craig Vincent says, just stay in the pocket, Bob. Yeah, I'm staying there. Just locked in. Emery says, just jumped in. Favorite way to carry deep carry ambi sheaths like Offensive Industries. Okay. I can speak to that. Yeah, I was just showing off this. This is the Knives by Nuge Primitive Wicket XL in his ambidextrous sheath. And it's funny, he was talking, he came on the show last night, or I interviewed him last night, and that show will be in 2 Sundays. But he was saying that when he first came out with this and was showing it, people were like, Josh should sue you, Josh from Offensive Industries and all this, like you ripped off his design. And first of all, Josh was not the first guy to come up with this. He's really made a name on it and has done a beautiful job and perfected it, and made, before he was making his own knives as heavily as he is now, he was making sheaths for various people. but he's the guy who showed Tom Nugent how to make one of these in detail. So not stolen, just handed down knowledge. Very cool. And then another good one. Yes, the Armis Knife and Tool. The Armis Knife and Tool VSK. Very stabby knife is what that stands for. And really nice ambidextrous sheath. So, yes, I'm concurring with you. I have really grown to like this style of carry. And even this one, which kind of seems big, is very comfortable. The only thing I get is that this protrudes high enough that sometimes, like when I'm bending over, more like squatting down, this rubs the rivet on my jeans and makes a sound I don't like. So that has nothing to do with the knife or the sheath. It's just something I've noticed, but I love this thing. Sorry, I like it. I do get locked into the same, saying cool over and over and over and over, saying I love it, saying this is beautiful. Say the same stuff. I need to vary it up. Go to TheKnifeJunkie.com/shop and vary your wardrobe. We got so many different designs there for shirts, t-shirts. It's grilling season, so you want to make sure that you get a cool, oh my God. You want to make sure that you get a compelling apron and a nice hat and a teddy bear for grilling. And then you need water bottles because it gets awfully hot out there. Check out these designs that Jim comes up with and the mottos. I swear he comes up with a new one every week, and we've got a lot of pages of really fun stuff. So go check it out. TheKnifeJunkie.com/shop. All right. Let me get this big Bowie put away so that I don't hurt myself. I got a lot of other things out on the table, but I'd rather just talk to you guys. String says Mike Stewart also was behind Blackjack Knives. And they still make some Blackjack models under that label made by Bark River Knives. They were made a little north of me in Effingham, Illinois. All right, now they're made up in Escatawba, Michigan. Actually, I used to have one. I traded with OG Blade Reviews for the Kaiser Inversion, and now I kind of wish I had it back, but that's all right because I have a Randall and it kind of scratches the same itch. Todd Carr says, so Bob, what's your favorite size for a Bowie knife? I like a 10-inch blade. I like the 10-inch blade because that's what I found. I really like the Laredo Bowie is super perfect. It is perfect. I love that knife. And it's a little bit shorter than the Natchez. I think the Natchez is almost 12 inches, and the Laredo is 10.5. That's like the perfect length for me. Adrian Fighter says, playing with knives and guitars is a great time. I cannot disagree with you on that. James Hart says, yes, the butt cap on the Magnum Tonto is aluminum. Okay, and I believe the guard is also, but I could be wrong about that. The knife that I traded for with Dave had a similar blade, a very similar blade to the Randall. This is the Randall 16 SP1. So basically, it's the number 16 model, which you can really see in the handle, but it's got the number 1 fighting blade on it. And this thing is so cool. Oh my God, this is such a nice knife. I'm sorry. I'm trying to now. I'm just repeating myself over and over. This is a great knife. It feels really comfortable in hand, and I can see why the warfighters of World War II and beyond wanted this. I could see why it would inspire a lot of confidence. 440 steel, but if it was okay for them, it's okay for me. Let me just put it that way. Excited to be getting this off to Victor Blades, and he sent me the email, which is good. You always have to remember to do that. We did a random giveaway weeks ago now, and I've tried to get in touch with the person who won it, and they never got back to me. And so it's at my desk at work. I'm not going to get rid of it until this person reaches out to me. And if it goes a year, then I'll just give it away to someone else. But it was that Bulbasaur, the Bulbasaur. And now the name escapes me as to who won it. But I got your name, and I will try and reach out to you again. And I want to send it to you. It's great that we have all these knives to give away, thanks to Dave of OG Blade Reviews. So yeah, thesaurus time, Bob. Yeah, no kidding. Okay, what's another word for cool? It's you know how it is. Spectacular. I could be like a Hollywood producer and call everything terrific. This is a terrific blade. I swear, it's terrific. Why don't you come up to my hotel room tonight after dinner and check out my blades? They're terrific. I think I got a part for you in my new script. It's terrific. Strings says, most guitar guys are knife guys. If not, they should be. That's funny. Yeah, just like a lot of knife guys are watch guys, a lot of jiu-jitsu or a lot of martial arts guys. I guess that's low-hanging fruit, are knife guys. It's interesting to see how people's interests and habits cross-pollinate. Doing martial arts, I've met some of the most interesting, artsy, nerdy, not nerdy, but traditionally kind of nerdy type people who are interested in the minutia and are deadly nerds. And then I've also met, very non-nerdy military types, and you meet all types doing things like this. Javon used to be a guitar guy. He looks like it, doesn't he? He looks like he's a rocker. Adrian Fighter 35, good Hollywood guy impersonation. Thank you. I appreciate it. James Hart says, well, I'm off. Good night. Stay safe and keep your eyes on the horizon, nose to the wind and ear to the ground. It's getting strange out there. Man, couldn't have said it better. James, have a wonderful weekend, sir. Take care. Always great to have you with us. Miranda Wilmore, it's been a pleasure. Come back and join us next Thursday night. Good evening, everyone. And I hope you got some good food for thought in terms of what you will be getting for your pocket carry. Gear Syndicate. I love that, Randall. Gear, it's nice to have you here. On my pickup list, I recently was lucky enough to find and purchase a custom Bill Bagwell, Stag Bowie. That envy creeping in again. Well, congratulations, I should say. That's quite a find. I love those. Craig Vincent, Bob, do you have the Cold Steel carve? I do not. I gotta say, I don't have any new Cold Steel designs. It's a little shameful, I guess. I'm trying to catch up on all the old stuff that I love. Ed says, man, I thought I was getting pulled over on the way home, but they just wanted me out of the way. Oh, that's such a relief. They're just cruising by. Emery says, also a martial arts guy, cyclist, knives, watches, flashlights, guitars. The finer things. Yes, sir. I used to be a cyclist guy also. That's cool. Nice cross-pollination. Northern Knives, car, knife, and watch guys cross paths a lot. We've been calling cars and coffee cars. I'm sorry. We've been calling cars and coffee cars and chronographs lately. The meets devolve into comparing EDCs often. Oh, I love that. I love that. Cars, I still have not yet gotten there yet. Miranda says, yes, and thanks to everyone for the suggestions. Our pleasure, I am sure. Have a wonderful weekend, Miranda. And all the rest of you guys and gals, have a wonderful weekend. I'm looking forward to it. I know we're getting up super early on Saturday, which is my only day of the week to sleep in, but I'm not bitter about that. I'm excited. It's just more time to spend with the people I love. All right, everybody, be sure to join us on Sunday for episode 579 when I talk to Mike of Northern Knives, who's just been chiming in. He's awesome, as is his compatriot there at Northern Knives, Dakota, who chimes in from time to time. But it was really great to talk with him and really find out the full width and breadth of Northern Knives. They don't just sell knives. They do a lot more than that. So come check it out. We have a great conversation. He's a great dude. And you all have a great weekend. War Room, later, man. Have an awesome weekend. Adrian Fighter, great show. Thanks, Bob, Jim, and y'all right back at you. Todd Carr, have a great night, everyone. Todd, you have a wonderful weekend. Mike Hauser, take care, sir. And Craig Vincent, Night, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Well, good night and good weekend to you. Good night and good luck to all of you. For Jim working his magic behind the switcher, I'm Bob DeMarco saying until next time, don't take dull for an answer.